70% of Americans 65 and older will need some form of care, but most of us don't even know what that means. So stick around with me as I show you the different types of long-term care, how they work, and what they really cost so you can plan ahead and avoid financial disaster. I'm Matt Francina, the People's Advisor. For 16 years, I've been simplifying complex planning, helping protect your health, build your wealth, and secure your legacy. Let's get into it. In the last video, we talked about what long-term care is and who needs it. If you haven't checked that out yet, make sure to go back and watch it. Also, download the long-term care guide linked up in the description. There are many types of long-term caregiving, but today I'm gonna focus on the big three: home care, assisted living, and nursing homes. Home care, it's kind of self-explanatory. This is care that takes place in the home, either by your family or hired assistants that you bring in. Now, when you're getting home care, you're typically gonna need help with your daily living activities that you would do on your own, meal prep, maybe taking to and from doctor's appointments, assistance with prescriptions, all the stuff around the house. Now, home care for most people is the ideal choice. It's what they desire to have happen. And to be honest with you, it's where most people start getting care because most long-term care is progressive. It starts out slowly, and over time, more and more hours are needed, oftentimes leading the family to make a decision that assisted living is the next best place. Now, assisted living, often called community care, this involves actually relocating and living somewhere else. In these types of facilities, it's kind of like an apartment or condo community where there's social gatherings and there's staff that lives there. There's also going to be caregivers and other professionals to help out with things and check on you. So oftentimes, if you're in an assisted living facility, then you have some independence, you still have some mobility, but you definitely need help with some of the things you do on a daily basis. Nursing homes tend to have a little bit more of a clinical setting where it feels more like a hospital structure than it does an apartment complex. And you can have a semi-private room. This is where you and another guest at the nursing home are going to be sharing a room, oftentimes separated with a curtain, or you can have a private room. Depending on what you can afford will determine the privacy that you get when you're in a nursing home. Moving into cost, in the same order, home care, those costs are going to vary the most widely because you're going to have control over how many hours of care you bring in if you're hiring an outside caregiver. Now, you can also supplement that with family members, which gives you a lot of flexibility. But home care, where I'm from, in Orange County, California, it averages about $30 an hour, plus or minus a little bit, depending on the type of care you need. If somebody needs full-time care, 8 hours a day, every day out of the week, they're looking at spending about $7,500 a month. You can only imagine how the costs will multiply at home when you look at 24-hour care because there's more factors than just multiplying the number of hours. If you want to have the same caregiver that you've become accustomed to, now you're paying for things like overtime and sleep hours and lots of things that begin to add up. It could cost almost 3 times as much as basic full-time caregiving. So now we're considering assisted living. Although many people will enter assisted living through a transition, starting caregiving at home and then move their way into assisted living, there's a high percentage of the population that feel it's the best fit right out the gate, mostly because they either live at home and don't have family nearby that are going to be able to visit them. And we are social butterflies, right? We thrive on interaction with other humans. So being in a community-based environment where there's social activities, things like that can be very appealing. Now, assisted living is going to be all-inclusive. The cost of living there plus the care built into one price, and it's charged on a monthly basis. Now again, where I'm from in Southern California, it's gonna range between $4,500 to $7,500 a month, depending on the type of care and I guess the amenities that are gonna come along with that place. So depending on what you need, you can figure out in the budget, but that's kind of the range you should expect. Third on the list for the big three are nursing homes. Now, as a reminder, nursing homes are not considered medical care, although the facilities have medical professionals on site as staff 24 hours a day to help with those residents. Nursing homes are gonna range in cost, really dependent on whether you want a semi-private or a private space. A semi-private room in Southern California is gonna range you between $8,000 to $10,000 a month. And if you wanna get rid of the curtain and put a wall in place where you have your own private room, you're probably looking between $10,000 to $12,000 a month or more, depending on how luxurious this place is. According to an AARP study done in 2021, 77% of Americans over the age of 50 desire to age in their home. The University of Michigan did a study, surveyed people between the age of 50 and 80 years old, and only 19% of them feel they have the finances to actually be able to do that. According to the American Healthcare Association, there's currently 800,000 people living in assisted living facilities. My goal here is just to educate, help you get all the facts that you might need, but if you stay tuned in the next video, I'm gonna spend time talking about how you can actually plan for these things, get into insurance and other resources that might be available, and if you feel like you're missing some context, go back and check out last week's video. Make sure that you subscribe, comment, and share this with anybody who you feel would benefit from watching it. I'm Matt, the People's Advisor. Join me on the next video.